Islam Makachev is causing big problems for the UFC lightweight and welterweight division right now. And I know that may sound a little bit silly, but stay with me here for a second. Islam Makachev is without a doubt the best fighter in the UFC right now. I have him pound for pound number one, as do most of you guys, I'm sure. However, he is causing big problems for the lightweight and welterweight divisions in the UFC because it has just came out that he is waiting for the JDM and Belal Muhammad fight at UFC 315 in May to happen before he decides if he is going to stay at lightweight or move up to welterweight. Now, this is a totally reasonable thing to do. I've been saying on this channel for months now that Islam Makachev is one of the champions that deserves to move up weight divisions if he wants to. And while you're here, consider dropping a subscribe. We drop high quality UFC content a couple times a week, and we're one of the best growing communities in the MMA scene, so if you want to join that from the beginning, I'd love to have you. However, the problem is, at his current weight class, we have a logjam at the top because he is now waiting for this welterweight championship fight to happen to see if he will move up. And now we have fighters like Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira, and Arman Tsarukyan all waiting to make their next move to see what Islam Makachev is going to do. And then when you combine that on top of an already confusing welterweight division, because we have Belal Muhammad as champ, who won back in July and hasn't fought since. He's had injuries and whatnot. He is going to fight JDM, who is stepping in on relatively short notice. And then you have Shavkat, who deserves an opportunity. Sean Brady just dominated Leon Edwards, and Sean Brady looks now like he deserves an opportunity. Joquin Buckley just destroyed Colby Covington and is waiting for his next move. We got Kamaru Usman still in the top 5 of welterweights, and he hasn't fought in almost 2 years at this point. And now you're just gonna throw Islam Makachev into that mix? And don't forget, in 2 weeks, we have Garry versus Carlos Prates in UFC Kansas City. So this is just going to be absolutely madness. It is going to cause a lot of confusion in 2 weight classes of who is going to fight for the belt in each one and what the exact order is. If Ilia Topuria can move up from featherweight after one title defense and demand to fight for the belt at lightweight, Islam Makachev can certainly move up to welterweight and demand to fight for the belt after everything he's done for the lightweight division. But then what do you do with all the aforementioned contenders such as Shavkat Rakhmonov, Sean Brady, Kamaru Usman, Joquin Buckley, Garry, Carlos Prates? You know, we have a lot of contenders there that are just going to be waiting longer to fight for the belt or waiting to see what their next fight is going to be now that Islam is waiting to see how the championship goes before he decides if he's moving up. And what are we going to do at lightweight? Then we'll have a 3-way tie for who should be fighting for the belt between Charles Oliveira, Ilia Topuria, and Arman Tsarukyan. And that is if Islam Makachev moves up. You're going to have 2 of those fight and one of them sit out in the meantime and fight somebody else. Who should that be? It's pretty hard to tell one of those 3 guys that they're not going to be fighting for a belt next. Me personally, I would say Arman Tsarukyan, since Dana already told Arman that he is not fighting Islam Makachev next for the belt. I think you just have him fight a contender in the meantime, maybe a Gaethje or Dustin Poirier or anyone. And then you have Charles Oliveira and Ilia Topuria fight for the vacant lightweight championship belt if JDM, Jack Della Maddalena, beats Belal Muhammad, because then Islam Makachev would move up to welterweight and that would vacate the title because Islam Makachev is not going to fight Belal Muhammad. They train together and they're buddies, and he's come out and said that he's not going to do that. And how does Islam do if he goes up to lightweight? How does he match up with the Sean Brady, who just dominated Leon Edwards in his performance? That's 2 amazing grapplers going at each other. You have a Belal Muhammad, who's a 3rd amazing grappler in that mix. And then you got someone well-rounded like a Shavkat Rakhmonov or Ian Garry or Joquin Buckley. And don't forget about Kamaru Usman, who's still in that mix himself. And then there's Jack Della Maddalena, who's just tearing through the welterweight division right now, similar to how Carlos Prates is. So how does Islam Makachev match up to each of those guys? Can he get through them the same way he's gone through all the top contenders at lightweight? Or is moving up the division and facing those guys who are already used to 170 going to be too tall of a task? You guys tell me what you think down in the comments below. Will Islam Makachev move up to welterweight? And if he does, will he be as successful as he thinks? But if you've made it this far, I'd like to thank you. Consider subscribing to the channel because it does go a super long way. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.